Good day, everyone. What's up, my people? We are here again, Street Yarn Podcast, and we talk on basic issues, trending matters, things that happen around us, sports, politics, our day-to-day activities, and many things that most people can relate to. And today we are about to talk on a trending issue. I think everybody on social media had a say or one or two things to say about it when the news was broken to everybody. And that's the matter, that's the Hakimi issue. Although we are about to discuss this issue, we are about to evaluate it, but we are not about to take sides. We are just trying to air our opinions and give an open conversation amongst ourselves. And concerning the Hakimi issue, the heard what happened where his ex-wife was about to, or his wife was about to get divorced from him, and they were about to share his property as it should be, and as it has been done over time. But
So I think maybe there's a little bit of
and
problem
all
with
his
Darius'
properties
connection.
were registered
Okay.
under his mom.
Okay.
And all these properties were registered under his mom. He made it known to everybody that even his clothes, he doesn't have them to his name, which surprised everybody.
Silver and gold I do not have.
Now, I'm telling you, like,
Go deep.
it was a twist. Like, it was a very twist. That was a very a different plot twist from the usual ways it has been from the onset. So we're just about to discuss about it. Please, what are your opinions? And with me, I have Tomiloba, Emmanuel, Ade, and Mayor Crown. So Tomiloba, please, what's your take on this?
Okay. The first time I saw the news or the story, whatever, I thought about different things. I didn't even see anything to it. And then my wife saw it and she was like, babe, did you see this thing? I was like, yeah, I saw it, but I just don't feel like I want to say anything about it because I feel like it has a lot of angles to it that are just kind of weird. There are a lot of factors that I looked at. Number one, the marriage is 3 years. Number two, they have kids. Number three, she's 12 years older than him. As at the time they got married, he was 21. If I get that fact correct. And then number four, he had all his let me not say had all his properties, but he was on the path of wealth before they met because he had already signed his professional contract even at age 16, long before they met and stuff like that. And then on the other side too, I looked at the woman's part of it that okay, she's a stay-at-home mom. She basically left her career to be able to take care of the children and the family. And then there's also the factor of she is a victim of infidelity. That is Hakimi. Even though the case is obviously still in court as to whether he actually raped the lady or he didn't rape the lady. Whether it was rape or not rape, I feel like one thing we can assume is that there was a sort of sexual relationship with the lady outside his marriage, right? Which, as far as his marriage is concerned, is a problem. So when I look at all these things and I look at it from different angles, first thing that comes to my mind is, okay, if the wife decides that she wants to get a divorce, she's within her right because, okay, the excuse she would have. It doesn't mean that because your husband cheats, you must divorce. But if she says she cannot stay in that relationship, it might be understandable, right? She wants to end the marriage. Ideally, in that kind of situation, if she's leaving the marriage, she's supposed to deserve some sort of compensation. The part I just did not agree with is that, which is my own personal opinion, I don't think a 3-year marriage wife deserves 50% of the man's property, especially when it is not like it's not one of those situations where you say, oh, we struggled together, we made this money together. The guy was actually practically a millionaire before you guys met, and so even if you deserve to want some sort of compensation, I don't think, in my opinion, should be half of his entire life's work. When I look at marriages of people like Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates that got divorced and their wives took half of their properties, or even Tiger Woods or something, these people have been married for 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
They've been together before we knew. Jeff Bezos had married his wife before anybody knew who Jeff Bezos was, or before anybody who knew who Bill Gates was. So it kind of makes sense that this is wealth that they have built together. It's different from a case
Just
where
3 years.
yeah, just 3 years. Now, people, I also read somewhere the people talking about, oh, how about the children? Which money will she use to take care of the children? I don't think the welfare of the kids are entirely a problem, right? Because it's like he died and willed his property to his mother, and then you're now saying, how would the children eat? No, he is alive. Obviously, if the woman allows, he's going to take care of his children. She doesn't need half of his property to take care of the children. However, I also believe that she deserves something. I feel like the mere fact that she did not get anything it's not fair in that context. Now, on the issue of is Hakimi wise, or is he like, because people have said Hakimi or more Sadiq, you know, this kind of thing. Going into that marriage, I feel like there must have been some objections from his advisors. That look, you are marrying this person, she's 12 years older than you, blah blah blah. It may not be a good idea or whatever. And then maybe now this is speculation. Maybe they were like, okay, you know what? If you're going to get married to this person, why don't you protect yourself?
Yeah.
And maybe that is why he decided to say, you know what? Well, if she loves me, my property should not be the problem. Yeah. So let me keep my property in my mother's name, and if she really loves me, well, as long as it's not like when we want to buy groceries in the house, we have to call my mom first. I'm sure they had an arrangement where there was always money available and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So looking at it from that angle, I feel like he may have just been like, okay, you know what, Hakimi, you are in love, right? You want to marry this girl. Okay, fine, but why don't you protect yourself? The same way rich people sign prenups before they get married. Maybe that was his own idea of, you know what, let me protect my money. If this marriage lasts long enough, anyways, our kids would inherit the money anyway, so why not? You get that kind of scenario.
Yeah.
Another angle again that I looked at is, what kind of wife is she that she doesn't know where the money is coming from?
One is
She doesn't know who is paying the bills. She doesn't know how how things are being, how the family account is set up, enough to be able to ask questions until she got to the court that, why is your mom's name on the receipts, or why is your mom's name on the credit card, or why is your mom's name on the bank account? Like, it seems to me like she doesn't care about all those things. She just cares about, as long as we are spending money, we are happy, until the problems arose. And so I feel like, rather than say Hakimi is a wise man, or laugh at the woman, I feel like their story gives people, or should give people, lessons, something to learn from, in terms of, okay, if you want to marry somebody, for me, if you have to marry somebody and you have to protect yourself before you marry that person, maybe you shouldn't marry that person, right? Because I feel like a marriage you are going into should be something you should be able to go into with all your full chest, with no reservations. If you have to go and hide your money before you marry somebody, maybe you shouldn't marry that person. That's number one. Another thing is, as a wife, as a woman or husband or whatever, you should know what is going on in your home, your finances. Your husband is going to work and coming back and bringing money home, and a few years later they arrested him for kidnapping, and you say you didn't know. Bro, you should know. I don't know how much of you should ask questions. You should know. You should not just pretend like, well, as long as the money is coming, I don't care where it's coming from. One day something will happen and you would have to care. It may not be divorce. It may just be one thing or the other. I don't want to mention examples, but we've seen examples of people that will come out and say, I don't know my husband was a kidnapper. I don't know he was a Yahoo boy. I don't know. But then you were enjoying the money, you were spending, So for me, basically, Hakimi's story is lessons for people to learn from, not things for us to just catch trips with or whatever it's called, and then just try to mock one person. The wife is greedy, the husband is a liar. At the end of the day, what lessons can we learn? I feel like that should be our focus. But that's my own view anyway. Back to you, Dario.
Yeah, as in you the way you even analyzed the whole thing, as in it gave me like another new perspective to the whole situation, because I never thought of it the way you thought about it. So, Ade, what's your take too?
Put me down to talk.
I'm telling you.
You don't talk with I want to myself. What I was actually wanting to say about the whole thing is, with how should I say beautiful the whole thing is, because for once we actually have a change, or should I say we have a loud change this time around, because we're actually used to people, or should I say men, losing their wealth, if not totally, completely, or absolutely, probably 80%. Now, basically, the extremely rich when they into business, now those ones they usually lose like 50% because they have good enough lawyers. Most of the rest, sportsmen and the rest, they usually lose everything completely, or maybe they lose like 80% or 70%. And then it's usually difficult for them to bounce back on their feet, for them to even continue their life in any sense. So it was actually, don't let me say blissful, but it was actually cool to see that there was a change in the scenario. All right. But despite that, the backstory, the backlog to the whole thing is, for you not to know how money has been coming in and out of your own house, and you are married to somebody, it really doesn't show how genuine you are in the relationship in the first instance. I feel she should have. There's a union that is partaking in a relationship, which is two of you are supposed to become one. Decisions are made together, contributions are made together, you people build each other together. It's not on a concept whereby it is now shocking to you that you discovered by court that your bobo no get money. Say now your mama, you no get shishi.
My mama money dey spend.
There's this comic I saw where they drew the guy trying to buy Icebox, and then he had to text his mom, say, "Mama, send some funds to Icebox. Send funds to Icebox account. Those screenshots make I see." She did that and then sent it to him. He then told the Icebox manager, say, "Alpha, salesman, write the receipt in my mama name. Thank you." So it's just funny. And overall, naturally, people say we are quick to judge. But I really feel there's an extent in which things can get real bad that you don't know where the money in the house is coming from as the woman of the house. Normally, the women in the house are even like the bank for the house.
Yeah.
So it's funny how she didn't. Well, maybe I'm not that open to the Western world yet, but in this part of the world, now so we usually see now the woman gonna be the financial lord controller of the house.
Financial secretary.
Oh no.
Financial director.
the men they win the bread. Now the women they distribute them.
Oh no. You get it. You get it. So that actually moves me a lot. And then the part where she was actually left with nothing, absolutely nothing. That one, actually, I feel it's not in all sense good. Because one of the things we were looking at is it also shows the tribe, like, should I say, the place of how they would have taken it in their place. One of the things we would look at is one. I would actually force myself on this case because one of the things we look at is the place of person. Despite tribe, we know that in their place they don't really give women that much value. So I felt that was one of the reasons why he was able to play that card and go with it.
But you know the thing is that fine, they are Arabs, but the issue happened in France, where the laws actually protect women, at least a little more than in the Arab world.
Yeah. Where they come down to in the sense of culture, and I say even at places where we say in father, I be in mother people fit follow and talk. Say sure, you don't give them 50%, that's good.
Yeah,
but
give them
something small, exactly. You get it.
Yeah.
But it was not like a blind eye. Say make you walk out come out, which kind of rubbish with this, that kind of thing. Say make she go. Say she don't file divorce, she don't do bad guys. Oti dojo aye man dojo epada, that kind of thing. So that is another part to it. And then one of the other parts I thought of was where the story of the guy's mother, when they moved to France, was working as a cleaner. So it was in the process of the guy making his way, becoming a footballer, getting paid, that they now became wealthy. He started taking care of his mother. So we can also say that Yana also, she no sleep on the matter. She wake up. So it was on his near mama go don't look and say, I'm on 19. You want money?
Collect your money.
Because story says he had married him at age 19. So the mama was like, age 19 to age what? It would to the mother it would have been like this girl don't they trap my guy come, like
exactly.
I've been watching him just for him to become of age, and then she could just take her. So mama was also on the checkouts, like, let me watch out for this guy. This guy cannot come and be swindled at such a young age and then start falling behind. So basically, Baba has always been a mama's boy. Mama has been the one taking care of him, handling things. So he might not have even had issues with the whole stuff being in his mother's name beforehand. He might have, if we could even tell since when he has gotten signed into the club, we could have probably known how far behind. Probably when he was even on that age, Goloting Dawo, see, I think back.
So what you're saying is that it may not be like, oh, when he was preparing to get married was when he made that decision. It could have been the status quo long before.
Thank you.
The whole marriage
just like people right now that his father they manage him matter, that kind of thing. Exactly. So there's a possibility that Mama too fit on the manage matter come say okay. Before now, let's draft case with lawyer. Let's draft what is it called? Document with lawyer. I won't know where with the face. I'll be helping you manage things. You'll be doing some whatever. I'll be giving you 20% of your money, and you'll be spending it wisely. That kind of thing. So it could be from that angle also. And
but I feel like there must have been a point when he was getting ready to get married that I will have felt, this is time for me to take possession of my property because I'm getting married. But there must have been a conscious decision to not do that.
As per Mama's
exactly.
go 19. Unless that guy na ultimate. And one of the things culturally that we know about these guys, Arabians, is that they are homely. Like they
Yeah,
are
family
submissive
oriented.
to family. Exactly. Submissiveness to family is a big deal there. Is a real big deal. So Kashama story go still come out. We know. I don't actually forget the last point. I don't talk too much. I don't forget the other point. I don't-
So okay, I think I like this matter is actually longer than what we see, and I think there's actually more to it than it meets the eye right now, because we are not part of their family.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going on in their family, but we're just giving a little idea of what's going on due to the fact that it's a celebrity marriage. I think this thing can go.
I think that's the third idea. I mean, that was the last idea I forgot. The celebrity marriage thingy. You know, one of the things with all these really famous people is that they eat a lot on celebrity moves, like celebrity marriages and the rest, high-end marriages. Just few people, a little of them. It's just probably, if you can count Messi, who married his young love, and probably Ronaldo, who is still dating.
Yeah. He's not officially married yet.
Exactly. Thank you. So you hardly count most of those guys go for models. They go for people that will meet the eye. They can present when they go out. And you know, those kind of marriages, you know, it wasn't built on. See Neymar. Neymar don't suffer. Ojo of the retail.
He don't see shaggy.
You don't see shaggy. Be running after celebrity marriages and celebrity relationships. So all those kind of things. And it's very rampant with, even when you cut into the movie industry, also the music industry. So, my bro, they know what they are saying.
I understand what you're saying. I understand. So, me your crown. What's your take?
Because actually, most of the points have actually been mentioned and spoken about. So I will just be speaking with repetition if I continue.
So that means there's no addition from your end.
No.
Okay. I think as I've said earlier, this is a more, because if you're starting to like be one-sided and all, we are in a world where people hold an opinion to different things. Like when you say Hakimi did the right thing, there's somebody that will come against you and be like, maybe you're like a misogynist or something.
Yeah.
And
And
when
the person
you're-
may even have legit points.
Yeah, and when you are trying to say the wife did the right thing and something like that, some people will also come around and tell you that's misandry or something, that you are against man, you hate man. But having a balanced view about everything, I believe normally divorce is, although it's not in an African setting, it's not really proper in an African setting, but I think these days we can say divorce is imminent in most marriages. Anything can happen, especially in the Western world. Like people get divorced easily when things are not going right in their relationship, in their marriage. They believe it's best than to keep suffering and keep going on. It's best everybody just go their way. Yeah.
You know, like back in the days, or even now in Africa, they'll be like, foriti,
Exactly. Exactly.
foriti until opalori.
I'm telling you. So that's the thing. I think, and the law has made it something that has given the female gender much more advantage, while the male is at the losing end. And this can lead to some kind of loopholes that I think many people will prey on. Like some ladies would like to use that to their own advantage. I won't lie to you, if this kind of situation, like if this law is so imminent in Africa or in, I don't want to be specific, bro. It will lead to something like a similar, like a scam kind of marriage. Because if it's something that's very much obeyed or very much that people go by it in Nigeria and other places in Africa. If a guy comes to a girl and tell him, okay, I love you, let's get married, due to the fact that maybe the guy has a property or something, the girl will say, okay, fine, let's get married, and they'll get married by the law. And after a while, the girl will say, oh, I'm tired of this relationship, let me go my way and get half of the guy's property. So in situations like that, when the law is favorable to one person than the other, people should try to understand that some people are not as pure-hearted as you might be. You know your heart, I know my heart. She might actually use that opportunity to say, since I know if I leave this guy, I'll get half of his property. Let me just keep up with him for a while. And after that time, I'll just leave him alone and get my property and live there happily ever after. And I think there's also this statistic I saw online about women being on the richest women their list, and 80% of them got their wealth from marriage, from that. Imagine, you can imagine how that can be. 80% got their wealth from being divorced. So it's something that has been happening over time. It's something that has been recurrent.
If I had this point, okay, me and my cousin were talking yesterday, or day before, about this topic, and one of the points he made was that, will she have filed for divorce if she knew he did not have anything in his name? So you should look at that angle. She exactly because she realized that, if I cut out now, there's nothing to gain, and she may have just decided to stay. And now, looking at it from the other perspective of, let's say, Africa, imagine an Alhaji that has 4 wives, and one of the wives wants to divorce him, and she has to take half of his property.
Imagine.
So that means the other 3.
Baba don't creep with that.
Imagine if all 4 decides to divorce him.
Baba is dead. Alhaji don't die.
Imagine,
so that kind of situation now. So I feel like that law, fine, is just one man, one wife in the Western world, and maybe that's why the law makes sense. But I feel like at the same time, that is why you see people who protect themselves outside the norm in terms of signing prenuptial agreements that, okay, you know what, if you decide to divorce this man within 10 years of marriage, you don't get anything. Or if you decide to, that kind of thing. Those things can end up being like bondage for the woman, because if the man is treating her poorly, she may not be able to get out of the marriage because she won't get anything. You get. So I feel like Dayo said, laws, the way the laws work, it will always favor one person over another person. Look at the example of Ebue that lost his entire property and everything. And the funny thing is that when a man is a victim of something like that, we say he is foolish, he is stupid. We attack the man, and nobody ever talks about the role that woman plays. But in this case now too, where most people are still attacking what's his name, Hakimi, that, why would you do that kind of thing at the end? So it's almost like it's a lose-lose situation. If you look on social media, if a woman comes to talk about her marriage, you see the comment section, sorry, queen, I stand, things like that. But if a man comes to talk about the problems in his marriage, you'll be like, shut up, you talk too much. You're supposed to talk about your marriage. You cannot go and settle. That kind of thing. So the standards are different. And that's why, because people know that the standards are different, you see, that might explain why people like Hakimi would take that extra step to say, you know what, I'm not going to be a victim of this thing. Maybe I'll do this thing to protect myself or do whatever. So, but to my initial point, I feel like the best we can take out of their situation is lessons learned. One of the funniest things that I know has been going on social media is that people have been saying you where you they talk, which property you get where one woman won't collect.
Exactly.
Which is
Exactly.
true. Well, at the end of the day, that's the reality. And which property? I feel like marriages, especially situations where okay, you get married to your wife, you guys, okay, even if you have one car, you have TV in your house, you have this. That is not property particularly. You got married when you guys, maybe your bank account was just $1,000 or 500,000 naira, and you start building wealth together over time. If that marriage gets to a point that it doesn't work, of course the woman deserves the part of that wealth because you built it together. Even if she was not working, even if all she did was take care of the children, the mere fact that she sacrificed her own career to take care of your children, she also you cannot say she did not contribute, right? Because at the end of the day, those children are carrying your own name, and it's your pride that you have children. But for me, I feel like laws should generally not just have this black and white. Laws should be flexible based on the situations and circumstances.
Yeah.
I know that when laws are flexible, people tend to manipulate it, but the reality is that life is not black and white. So I don't think our laws should be black and white.
Exactly. I think that's like one of the major things, because coming to look at it from the angle of the woman. So I think Hakimi had a case going on about rape and maybe infidelity and stuff like that. And maybe the woman felt this guy is not faithful enough for me. I want to move on with my life, and I can't deal with his misbehaviors and all. So she might also be right for wanting to be divorced and all. So there are two different ways or two angles that people can come from. So we're just trying to express our own opinion here. We are not trying to take sides with Hakimi. Hakimi is a smart guy, fine. The lady too has suffered too, fine. So I think with these few things we have been able to express our minds. Or what do you think, my people?
Yeah, sure. This
So
we've been
from my
able
own
to
side,
lay
I
out
feel
our
like
point.
we've covered the bases.
Okay.
Correct, my guy.
Sure. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Ade. Thank you, Mayor. And on behalf of Lexi that is not around, we also say thank you. These are our opinions on the trending matters, and we hope next week or when some other time we'll be able to talk more on another issue that is going on around us. So I think we are going to call it a wrap right now. So
All right.
bye.
All right. Talk to you guys another time.